But it was so nice for you to stop by and talk with me today. I am
Yeah,
so
of
excited
course.
about The Last of Us. Like, wow, it
Yeah.
is epic. And obviously, fans know that your cast is Henry. So,
Yes.
congrats on that.
Thank you.
Talk a little bit about Henry. You play opposite Pedro Pascal, who plays Joel, and
Yes.
Bella Ramsey, who plays Ellie.
Ellie, yes.
How did you get the role? How did it come to you?
Well, it came to me like how most things come to actors, and I got sent it from my agent. My agent sent me this audition, and especially with me being a fan of the game, when I saw The Last of Us, I actually wasn't aware of the adaptation that they were doing, but then I got the email for the audition, and I saw The Last of Us, and I was like, oh wow, oh my goodness, and I saw HBO, I saw Craig, and I saw Neil, and all these amazing people attached and a part of this show, and it was sort of a no-brainer for me. So I saw that it was Henry, and especially being a fan of Henry and Sam in the game and how moved I was by that, the prospect of me being able to get in front of this and to be able to portray this character in a live action. I was just extremely excited. In the process, I mean, it was pretty fast. I got the audition, I believe, on a Friday. Could be getting that wrong, but I know I sent my tape in on the Monday. By the Wednesday, I got the call from my agent saying that I booked it. By the Saturday, I was on a plane, and I think on the Wednesday was my first day. Now, mind you, I wasn't aware that this role required sign, because in my audition material, it didn't say anything about signs. So when I got the role, I then learned that I would have to learn signs. So I jumped right into the deep end, but again, it's such I love challenges, and I love things that will challenge me, because on the other side of a challenge is growth. So I knew that
Absolutely.
I would be able to grow as an artist through this process. So I dove right in, but HBO and the team over at The Last of Us, they provided me such an amazing team. I had a director of ASL, I had interpreters, and the
Wonderful.
whole nine. Yes. So I really, really had a great support system to make me feel comfortable stepping into this. And also, I mean, Kevon, I mean, he's just fantastic. And I felt it very important for me to really get on my stuff, because the relationship between Kevon and I would be so pivotal, and I knew that the main way for us to communicate and connect would be through signing. So
Absolutely.
I knew that I had to really jump right in and just really give it 110%, because I didn't want to missed the opportunity to really, really connect with Kevon on a really personal level, prior to us getting on screen and kind of having to act sort of these years. I really wanted it to feel as organic as possible. So I just jumped right in.
I love that. And you talked a little bit about you already being familiar,
Yes.
with the game. Was it difficult to kind of shelve what you knew about the characters and their mannerisms, even their sounds, how they
Yeah.
spoke? Or were
Mhm.
you easily able to kind of shelf that and put it aside and kind of concentrate on your own performance and dig your teeth into your own imagined idea of what
Yeah.
Henry was like?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, I think, especially with me being familiar with the game, I think I took the understanding of the story, right? I mean, really, it's ultimately about the story, right? And I think Craig, once again, did such a great job with the adaptation that there were also slight differences, that allowed me to also make my own choices with. So I think it was sort of like, it was more of like a study where it was like, okay, cool. I know from point A to point Z where these
Right.
characters go, right? So I kind of know what that journey is. Okay, now I have an understanding. Now let me look at the page and see what Craig put down, and let me now kind of create my own interpretation and my own sort of ways of feeling certain beats or certain moments, or what do I feel? How do I feel? And really kind of getting into that, as opposed to trying to make it a carbon copy. I had no
Yeah.
intention to really do exactly what the actor that played Henry so brilliantly in the game. I kind of wanted to kind of create my own interpretation for this character.
Which must have been a little bit difficult if you're so familiar with it.
Right.
You know, you're reading the words, they're a little different on the screen. The story's a little bit different. Where he comes from is a little bit different. We're allowed to talk about that because it was already mentioned.
Yes.
So you must have had to kind of separate yourself in your process. Like you're trying to get to learn somebody that you already sort of know.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. You know, because there was a time jump between when I had played the game versus when I had got the audition, I think that also maybe helped me because it actually gave me time to truly digest and resonate with that story. So then when I saw it on paper again, I was like, oh, okay, I automatically sort of understood where I was supposed to be, if that made sense.
Like emotionally, you understood it.
Yeah, exactly. I sort of understood sort of some of those beats that were already there. So I kind of stepped into it with kind of that knowledge. But then as we started getting on set and fleshing out a lot of these scenes and everything like that, my relationship with Joel, you know, played by Pedro, my relationship with Ellie, played by Bella, you know, there's slight different dynamics. Although Pedro does such a great job at Joel and Bella does such a great job with Ellie. I think they also sort of interpreted the characters slightly differently, you know, in their own ways. So with me receiving that as an actor, you know, my response will be slightly different as well, right? So I think it was more just about me trying to be as present as possible on set and in these scenes and really just kind of whatever it was that I was given, which was a lot. And keep in mind, there were so many practical effects on the set that like, so many of what you see on that television screen was actually there. You know, it was truly amazing. Like they built a full cul-de-sac with like 14 different homes. Like, yeah, it was just insane, you know, blowing up.
I can't wait to talk about the scope because I have some questions about that.
Yes, no, it's just insane. Yeah,
massive. It's
massive. And, you know, I mean, this is coming out obviously post episode, right? Okay, so with the truck, with the big run truck, it actually plowed through cars, and we were really running away from the like all of this was very real. So I didn't have to act, you know, like once again, it was just about me being as present as possible. How would you react if there was a massive truck coming, you know, and just playing and just being present and just you know, being available for, you know, whoever I was working opposite of, Pedro or Bella or Kevon, you know, or even, you know, Melanie, who plays Kathleen, you know, just trying to be as present as I possibly could with them.
Well, you know, without spoiling anything, because you did talk about ASL, that's a little bit new for you.
Yes.
What can we expect from Henry that might surprise maybe fans that are, you know, very familiar with this universe, or also his relationship with his brother Sam? Is there anything that might surprise fans?
Anything that might surprise fans? Well, number one, I mean, I think the biggest difference is the ASL, of course.
Yeah, that is huge.
That's the biggest. I think is the biggest change. One thing that they'll be surprised, you know, I think we touched on it a little bit. I think in the game they are from Pittsburgh. And in the show, it is Kansas City. So there are some changes there. Kathleen being a new character, you know, that wasn't in the game. So I think that may be surprised. And also how Sam and Henry are even tied up to Kathleen and why we're sort of being hunted by her. You know, I think that will also might surprise some people and also give you a look at some of the tough decisions that Henry had to make in this world to protect his brother and to keep his brother safe, and just to show how much he loves his brother and what he is willing to do. I think
that's kind of what I love about these kind of apocalyptic genre films is it really tests humans and what they're willing to do for the people that they love and what they're willing to do for their family and just survival. I think it's something that touches all humans. Like we can't imagine what that's like, but we can imagine those feelings and who we want to protect and those things like that. So that's very familiar and something that is a little scary, I think, considering the pandemic that we have lived in. We have to talk about that. It's hard to deny those similarities between this apocalyptic, like fungal infection to the COVID trauma that we've lived through and still living through. So did it feel to the cast as surreal as it felt to me as I was listening to that scientist talk about fungal spread
Yeah, I
and,
know. Yeah.
climate-induced human extinction? I,
Right.
I was like getting really,
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
stressed out. I thought, oh my
Right.
gosh, this is so familiar. Did the cast talk about that a lot? Did you guys feel like, whoa, this is really something that we're living in now too?
Well, I don't think it was. I don't think it was talked about too heavily. I think it's because we were still living in it. Like when we're shooting, we're still being tested and we start to wear masks. And, so I think we're still living in it. So it wasn't a conversation of being like, oh, wow, like, look how parallel these situations are to each other because we're still living in one of those parallels, So I don't think it was a comparison that because we're still living in that, but it is quite shocking, to see the similarities, and to also kind of feel it so viscerally because it was something that we all have and sort of are still like kind of recovering from and sort of living through,
Yeah.
But I think that's what makes the story so much more, I think, even relatable in a sense, because people can sort of relate to that idea and the assumption that this could potentially be detrimental to society, and people can really kind of connect to that argument, that conversation, because, especially at the height of COVID, I mean, it was very scary for a lot of people, it was very traumatizing. A lot of people have lost loved ones and, it was very, traumatizing and shocking for a lot of people. So I think for the scientists to kind of say like, no, this would be catastrophic. I think it really resonates and hits home for a lot of people because of what we sort of just went through and experienced. So I don't think it was a conversation that we had on set, at least not with myself. But yeah, I mean, it was definitely felt for sure.
It's a conversation that fans are having now. They thought,
yeah,
I think and even in the opener, they thought, ooh, this is
like
our reality to the extreme.
Yes.
Maybe we should listen to scientists because they seem to know what they're talking about.
Exactly. Yeah. And pretty much saying like, so, for these, other, pandemics, there are vaccines and there are cures, but with something like this, they're like, there's no coming back from this, so that's just, I think just to start the series on that tone, I think once again, it informs a lot of the decisions that these characters make, it informs a lot of the decisions that Henry had to make to protect his brother, at the end of the day, like, to lose someone to that, that way, it's tough because they're still there, but they're not there. They've kind of been taken over in a sense. So, their physical body is there, but then it's such like a crazy thing to have to stomach and to see your loved one sort of be that or sort of understand or know that they are becoming that, or, like just the idea of that is just haunting.
Also, the scope of it is sort of so impressive. I mean, when just last night's episode, sorry, a tear in my eye. Last night's episode was massive. I mean, when we were looking at the cityscape, I was just so impressed, especially the first shot. There's a toppled over skyscraper and you have to kind of maneuver your way through the city. So let's talk about filming all of this. Normally in the TV world, time is money. But HBO, they gave showrunners Druckmann and Mason ample time to bring this show to life. Talk about shooting the first season, how long it took and how the size and scale kind of added to the realism and why the added hours and days to production were needed.
Well, what I would say is like the scale and scope of this was just absolutely incredible. Every day when I'd walk on set, it would just be something that is just, the attention to detail, I think, was the biggest thing that really, truly impressed me, especially actually physically being on these sets. Any corner that you look at, it is thought about. Even down to, the hotel that we're in near the ending of the episode, there are stains on the carpet. It really felt like this hotel existed and has just been, not cared for the past 20 years. It truly, truly felt that way. The wallpaper, the floorboards, the ceiling, the light fixtures, the chairs, like everything was just so thought through. And there was so much attention to detail that, Yeah, it was amazing. And the pace at which we shot, it really felt like we're shooting just a massive movie,
Right, right. Because usually you
I,
film a lot of pages in a day
yeah,
for TV, but this felt
yeah.
like it was so large you must have been filming, a few pages per day.
Yeah, there are definitely scenes that were priority and that we take quite some time shooting, especially that this was such a beloved IP. I think everybody sort of knew the importance of getting certain moments and certain beats right.
Yeah.
So, we definitely took our time. And if we needed, to do more, then we do more. I think everybody sort of had a similar investment in terms of, just wanting this to be amazing and wanting this to be something that the fans, but not only the fans, the new viewers could really truly get behind and fall in love with. So it was felt, it felt like just a very long movie.
Yeah, and I have to admit the new viewers really seem to be latching onto it. I think there's a hole right now for apocalyptic, somewhat zombie type shows that people are
Yeah.
looking for something that they want that genre in, and this
Right.
fits it. And
Yeah.
They might even go now play the video game.
Play
Who
the game.
knows?
Yeah, exactly.
Who
Yeah.
knows? So if you can tease, just tease, don't spoil, just tease. What were some of your favorite episodes or scenes to film in the first season without kind of taking it out of context so you don't spoil it? But
Right,
is there
right, right.
something that you did this season that you thought, wow, that was great?
I thought everything was quite enjoyable, but to be honest, I think my favorite scene would probably have to be just the chaos that happens in episode 5. It was so much fun to sort of just be running and weaving through and seeing all this chaos happen. I started off as a dancer, so being physical is such a great thing for me, and I absolutely love it. So to kind of like have that sort of rush a little bit was really great for me. That was a lot of fun. But there's just so much. There was just so much fun that I had shooting that. Even though the story is obviously very tragic, it was a lot of fun. It was still a lot of fun. Everybody made it a thing to kind of really inject some levity onto set, and it was great. It was truly a very positive experience for me.
I was going to ask you, it is a really dark series, and you guys did film for a really long time. So
Yeah.
keeping that energy up and kind of tackling these kind of traumatic scenes day in and day out, how did you guys kind of keep it light on set? Was there, some behind the scenes kind of, fun times going on? Because that's a lot of trauma to deal with every single day for so many months.
I think everybody sort of just knew, just the weight in what it was that we were doing. And in the time that I was there, we just made it a thing to just, keep it light, keep things light until we needed to kind of, get into the space that we needed to. Then we took as much time as we needed. But, between times, we just make it a thing to, keep it light, whenever we're in, like cast tent or cast holding or whatever, we just kind of really just like, we just talk, we just have just like conversation. We talk, we wouldn't really keep it too heavy or too dark, anything like that. We really just kind of like just got to know one another and sort of just like, okay, cool. Just understood like everyone's background and how everyone was feeling and, things like that. It was really, it felt very supportive. And, again, just really grateful to have had that type of environment and setting.
Oh, yeah.
Something like
I
this.
think it probably brings out great performances when people feel really comfortable with each other and they know each other's process. Speaking of the fans can be tough.
Yeah.
Many were questioning if this show was going to land, if they were going to be another repeat of, a game to television that, or movie that people were upset with. But they really wanted it to deliver, the show to deliver. Since you are part of social media, what kind of response have you been seeing from the fans so far of the series?
It's been incredible. I've seen the reception has just been amazing, especially from fans, especially, I mean, when the show first came out, we saw a lot of like critic reviews, and even critically, it was doing so well. So I was just more excited and interested to see what the fans thought, because I think that's the most important. I think the fans is most important. Of course, critics are very, very important for really just the overall success of a show. But I think what really drives and pushes a show and its success is the fan base. And I really wanted the fans of the video game to watch this show and truly feel like everybody a part of this show really tried to honor the story and honor what Neil and everyone at Naughty Dog did with this show. I mean, with the game, it really was felt throughout the set, even the crew was fans of the game, so everybody sort of understood what we were doing, what we're a part of. And I think just, the investment was there once again, just the investment of time, energy, prep, just everything was there. And I'm really happy that the fans are responding to the show, or at least the first 2 episodes so far, and I think they are in such a beautiful, beautiful ride with the rest of this.
Well, I mean, they certainly responded. 4.7 million viewers, making it the second most hyped debut in HBO, I think in the last 13 years of premieres. So fans were super excited to see the TV adaptation. But now it's been 2 weeks, since the premiere. Everyone is kind of flooding social media. They're offering up their critiques. What does it mean to you to be a part of such a massively popular universe?
Mm-hmm. It's amazing. I mean, it's a little daunting, at least, for me, because especially being a character in the live action, it's like, are people going to respond to, sort of, my interpretation of this character, sort of what I brought to the screen, but I think it's amazing. I think it's truly amazing that this show has such a wide fan base. I think just for me to be able to, again, honor the story, honor the game, honor Henry, honor Sam, and the actors that played them before myself and Kevon. Just a true an honor that I'm really grateful to have been bestowed upon, and sort of just been able to showcase that and showcase my work.
I think also ASL, the representation is going to be really important to new fans.
Yes.
I think that's really important to mention because there's not a lot of that on television, but we're seeing more of it now.
Yeah, like
and it's
Coda,
really important to showcase, everybody's walks of life in television that reflects our real life.
Absolutely.
People want to see themselves.
Yeah, I was truly pleasantly surprised to learn that, they made those creative changes with Henry and Sam, although it would have been just like, although I knew that it was going to be, a massive challenge for me, I was very, very happy about that. Like you said, that representation, not only that you get to see, characters that look like myself, and my skin complexion, but also to have that representation for ASL and for the deaf community. And I think it's very, very, very important to be able to have that representation and see yourself on screen.
And congrats to HBO for doing it correctly and getting someone to make sure that the representation is done sensitively and with respect. I think that's really always important. Like, you probably shouldn't do it if you're not going to do it right.
Exactly. Authenticity is very, very, very important. So I wanted to make sure that, we were doing it the right way, and I'm really grateful that they provided just a great team for me to really be able to deliver it in a way that just felt, that felt strong and organic.
So what's next for you, Lamar? This show is doing great, and obviously the fans are going crazy about it. Are you working on any other future projects that we can all keep an eye out for?
Well, I actually had a film premiere at the Toronto International Film Festival called Brother, which I'm the lead of, which I'm very grateful for. And that should be premiering actually sometime in the spring. So I'm very excited to talk more about that.
Absolutely. I can't wait to see what that's about.
Yeah.
So what would you like to say to the fans? The fans, they love this show, and they're really going to be the make or break it of it, right? Because they're
Yeah.
the ones that are going to talk about it and, buy everything about it and, watch it. So what would you like to say to the fans of the show, but also the fans of you and the supporters of you and your work?
Well, what I would say to the supporters of mine are, thank you so much for being a part of this ride. It's been a journey, kind of like I said previously, starting off as a dancer, then transition to acting, and sort of still having, fans of mine that would follow me from my dance career that is now following me in my acting career. And I'm very, very grateful for just the amount of love and support that I get endlessly, and I'm extremely grateful for it. And the fans of the show, thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for the amount of support that you've given all of us, so far, even though the show hasn't been done, the amount of also the love that I've gotten from TLU fans have been amazing, just getting so much love and people saying how excited they are to see me as Henry and thinking I'm a perfect cast, and all these just really positive and lovely things. I'm very, very grateful for it, because these things really kind of it means a lot to us artists, so I'm really grateful that people not only are fans of mine, but are also anticipating and excited for what I am to do as well. So just keep watching, keep supporting, and I'm excited for the future.
Well, I'm excited for your future. I'm definitely going to keep watching. Thank you so much, Lamar Johnson, for talking with me today.
Thank you.
I'm Kelly Kearney with Starry Constellation Magazine. And fans, if you have not watched the first 2 episodes of The Last of Us, 1, what are you doing? And 2, go to HBO Max and stream it, or watch it every Sunday night on HBO at 9 p.m. Thank you so much, Lamar. It was a pleasure speaking with you.
Yes, you as well. Cheers.
Have a good day.
Cheers.